Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, don't forget to click on the subscription button as well as the notification bell so that you get notified premium updates whenever I drop a video. And to my old subscribers, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I know you guys are wondering that something looks different, somebody looks different. Yeah, I got my hair. I cut my hair, yeah. I just got tired, and yes, so I decided to do the big chop. But I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, let's get right into the reason for being here. So, today we're going to talk about something that I think really needs to be talked about. Yeah, no, I don't think I know actually. So, and this conversation is coming out of coming out from whichever it is, something I saw on Instagram. Yeah, so I saw a post. Somebody put out a post on Instagram, and then this post, the person was talking about it was narrating something that happened to him, right? That happened to him. So it was like a personal experience that he had, and I saw it, and it really interested me, right? So this is it. This person had an exam to write, and for whatever reason, I don't know, he didn't say, he was not able to, he didn't know what to write. That's just the bottom line. He didn't know what to write, and in the exam hall it was just blank. He might have had a genuine reason for that. There are times when we are so overwhelmed by lots of things, and we're not able to study, or we are trying to study, and then we are not assimilating as we should, right? That might pose as an hindrance, and then you have an exam to write, and then you're not able to perform as you should. So he had this exam to write, and he was in the exam hall, and he didn't know what to write. It was totally blank, right? And then he said that an angel appeared to him right while he was in the exam hall, and then this angel told him to write on his answer booklet. I'm trying to like narrate the story. I'm not saying it exactly as he said it, like he was a write-up, so I'm just trying to like do a summary of the whole story. So, and this angel appeared to him, and then told him to write on his answer booklet, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord. So fill the empty spaces with Jesus is Lord, right? Sounds funny, right? And so he obeyed. He did that. Filled his answer booklet with Jesus is Lord, because he didn't know what to write. And result comes out, and this person passes. And he did not just pass, he passed well. Now, some persons might want to say, "Oh, that's a lie. That did not happen. How will God tell you to write Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord, and then you write it, and then your result comes out, and it's beautiful." Some people don't believe in miracles, right? But I do. I believe in miracles, and I know that miracles exist, and miracles really happen. But that's not the bone of contention for today. We're not here to talk about whether or not miracles exist or not. Yeah, we are here to talk about personal conviction and understanding and hearing God, like having a strong conviction, having a personal conviction, understanding God for yourself, and knowing what works for you and God, right? But this is what I want to bring out from this story. That's why I said we are talking about understanding personal instructions and and convictions, right? Convictions. Now, this young man got an instruction from God. He might have had a genuine reason for, not knowing what to write in exam, or we were not there. I don't know. I wasn't there, right? He might have had a genuine reason for not knowing what to write, or maybe something happened and he was not able to read, or whatever it was. But I believe that for him to have gotten that instruction, God said, "Do this," and he obeyed. Now, that's obedience is where many persons miss it. Some persons do not know how to. This topic is actually very, very broad, because there are a lot of things in this story. There's the ability to discern God's voice. There's the ability to be able to obey God. Then there's the ability to also, have a strong conviction. And then there's also the place of not being foolish. Mhm. And that foolishness has a lot to do with discernment, because imagine it's just your mind and your instinct telling you, right, Jesus is God now. Yanu Mashele. Miracle is going to happen. No, things don't work that way, right? So this young man that wrote this exam and then passed and did very well, you know, he definitely had a relationship with God. For God to have given him that instruction. And not only did God give him that instruction, he obeyed. And not only did he obey, God proved himself in his life by making him pass that particular exam. That was a miracle. There's no, that was both a combination of miracle. No, was that miracle? Was that a miracle? I should think that that was mercy. Yes, that was mercy. Let me know in the comments what you think. You God telling him to do that, and him obeying, and the result coming out well, and him like making his papers. Was that a miracle, or that was God showing him mercy? But I think it was mercy, though. I think it was mercy, because mercy is like something that we do not deserve. Because ordinarily he doesn't deserve to pass, because he no, like, when I mean he doesn't deserve to pass, I don't know his reason for not knowing what to write in the exam hall. But when you're in the exam hall and you don't have what to write, it is believed, or it is assumed, that you do not know what to write because you did not study. If you have studied enough, you would have what to write. So maybe he was not able to read, or he was not able to understand, and then God, I think it's mercy. I really think it's mercy. God showed him mercy, what, or something that is unmerited. God, yeah, I think it's mercy. But let me know what you think, though. But then this person has shared this testimony. This has happened to this person. Now imagine somebody that doesn't have a relationship with God, somebody that doesn't even know God, right? Maybe just a random church goer, or somebody that just feels. Now, when I mean somebody that does not know God, I mean somebody that has not had a personal encounter with God. And then this person just believes that, oh, I go to church, I pray. So, I mean, if God could do it for A, God can do it for me too, yeah. And so this person has an exam to write, and the person doesn't study, and then the person is like, okay, don't worry, that guy said he wrote Jesus is Lord on his script. So I mean, waiting with Jesus is Lord, I feel right time now, I'll fill my book with Jesus is Lord. And then the person just feels like, oh, I'm going to get to the exam, or I'm going to fill my book also with Jesus is Lord. Or the person might decide to even spice it up a bit. Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Right? And then the person expects that, oh, this is going to work. What are you expecting? Of course you're going to fail. And you're going to fail woefully. If you're going to pass, you're probably going to pass because God is trying to bring out something from that experience. Maybe God is trying to teach you something. Otherwise, you will fail, and you will fail beautifully. Because God is not a magician. God is never a magician. He only works for people who, you know, he knows that this person is helpless. Not that you had the time to study and you intentionally did not study. You wasted your time, wasted whatever it was, and you said, oh, God is going to help me, God is going to work this whole thing out. And you not expect that God is actually going to help you. It doesn't work that way. And then if it doesn't now work out, you now start to say, God is unfaithful, God is wicked, why won't he help me, why did I fail, why did this happen? It happened because you were not even given that instruction. That was someone else's instruction. God instructed him to write Jesus is Lord. Is that what God told you? Did God tell you to write Jesus is Lord on your script? That's someone else's instruction from God, not yours. Right? That's why it's important to have a personal conviction and a personal understanding. Your personal instruction. Don't go and do something because now I gave these examples because I want to say this. If you have not gotten an instruction from God about a particular thing, we're talking about two things here. We're talking about instructions, and we're talking about instruction, and we're talking about conviction. If you have not gotten an instruction from God as regards a particular thing, do not do it. Don't say because God told Mr. A to do this thing and it worked for him, so I'm going to do it too. It might not work out for you, and it might become very, very, very disastrous, because that is not your instruction. In life, everybody has different path. God has different plans and purpose for every single person. The ministry that he has for me is different from the ministry that he has for you. The ministry he has for Mr. A is different from the ministry that he has for Mr. Z, right? So we need to understand that everybody has different ministries and different purpose on this earth. So you don't see that because God gave this person this instruction, you now think that that instruction applies to you. It does not apply to you. And if you decide to do what God has told somebody else to do, just know that it's not going to end well, right? So you don't expect that God instructed somebody to write just blood on his script. God knows why he said to write that. It could have been something else. And he wrote it and it worked for him and it came out fine. You that has not been instructed, you go ahead to write Jesus' blood. You will just get in trouble with your lecturers. They will just look back, highlight your name and highlight your mark number and look for you around. And then you give yourself unnecessary attention that should not be. And then they start to like say bad about you or about the body of Christ. Something that should not be, right? So it is important for us to understand personal instruction. What has God told you about this thing? What has God asked you to do? What has God said to you about your life? What has God said to you about your ministry? You don't say that because, see, we need to understand that every detail of our lives is very important and God is interested. See, even down to when you're going to school, even down to when you're going to live, even down to who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. I'm talking about marriage now. God is interested. God is interested. And He has different plans for everyone, right? So imagine, because okay, you are friends, you have three friends, and then friend A says, oh, I want to go to this uni. You not say, because friend A is going to, friend A and friend B are going to the same uni. You not say, eh, nah, we are three, so let's just stay together now. So you two carry your leg and carry yourself and go to the same uni. Meanwhile, God has a different plan for you. So in a situation like that, if you do not consult God, things are not going to end well at all. It's going to be okay. Imagine you follow them to that uni and there is no purpose for you there. You would just be wasting time. You would I don't even want to imagine it. Imagine you are staying in a place for quite a number of years and you're not fulfilling purpose. Imagine that your course is a 4-year course. That means you have wasted 4 years of your life. That's the meaning of that. You have wasted 4 good years of your, sorry, I was doing like this. No, 4 good years of your life in that place, not fulfilling purpose. Why? Because you did not get an instruction from God. You were not convicted that this is what this should be. You just, from your own will, you just decided that, oh, I'm going to do this and that's it. So we need to understand that each person has different purpose. Understand your peculiar instruction from God. Understand what it is that God wants you to do. Understand God's plan and purpose for your life before you make certain decisions. If you have not heard God, please do not do it. If God has not instructed you to live in a particular house, if God has not instructed you to move to a particular state, if God has not instructed you to take a particular journey, please do not do it. Don't say you feel. Life is beyond what we feel. Life is beyond what we feel. You cannot do life without God. Talking about conviction, having a conviction, talking about conviction is very, very broad. See, if you're not convicted, especially in the Christian faith, if you're not convicted about certain things, you make so many mistakes, because you would see certain persons that you respect doing certain things, and if you do not have your personal conviction about that thing, you will join them to do that thing, and then ah, see, as a child of God, there is nothing that you need more than conviction. If you have conviction, know your stance, know where you stand in Christ. See, there are certain things that you will see. You will see so many things, I assure you. So many things that if you're not careful, you will be confused about. And if you do not have your conviction, hey, See, you will just be tossed here and there like the wind. The wind will just be tossing you here and there. You just be moving like this without direction. Okay, going like this safe is like this one. At least this is the direction safe. It's going like this, like this. This one you'll be going like this, like this, like this. Right? So conviction is very, 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 very important. It cannot be overemphasized. It cannot be overemphasized. See, if you don't have conviction, if you do not have your personal convictions about things, you make so many mistakes, and some of the mistakes that you will make might not be corrected. I remember I know I've shared this story sometimes on one of my videos where I talked about fulfilling purpose. I remember I said that I'm talking now from personal experience. This has happened to me. I was supposed to make a very, very important decision in my life at that time. It was ah God, that was a very, 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 very critical period for me. I was supposed to make this decision, and then I heard from God. I did. You know, I had gotten the instruction now. Okay, beautiful. This is a perfect example. I'm going to merge both the instruction and the conviction so that you understand it very well. Now, I'd gotten an instruction from God to do a particular thing. Now, this thing I was going to do was going to alter, it was going to alter the trajectory of my life, right? It was that big of a decision. And it was very difficult. It was difficult because when I shared this with you know people around me, the immediate people around me, and some persons, many people, this did not happen now, this was like some time ago. Many persons did not see reasons with me, and it was like I was taking a very foolish decision. And in the actual sense, it looked very foolish. I won't even me, I won't lie. It was looking very, very stupid and foolish. Pardon my words, right? It was looking very foolish. But then that was God's instruction. So sometimes God might tell you to do certain things that, see, the wisdom, I've forgotten how they say that in, see, is it like scriptures, that the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of man. So it was looking like foolishness at the time, but it wasn't foolish, right? And then I was supposed to do this thing, but it was really difficult. It was very, very difficult. And then when I shared this, nobody. Let me give a percentage. If it was about 100% of people that saw reasons with me, I would say, like, if that was like the whole percentage is 100, right? So if I was to like give a percentage of the people that saw reasons with me out of 100, it would be like, am I even saying people, or it's just a person? 5%, let me say 5%, just 5%, 5% out of 100. So imagine if the remaining 95 were against my decision. And it was really difficult because I really needed support at the time. I needed, I needed emotional support actually, because it was a whole lot even for me, and I needed support. But these people did not see reasons with me, hence there was no reason to support me, because it felt like I was being very foolish, and it was very difficult. It was difficult. I went through a lot, a whole lot. But guess what? I knew what I had received from God. I had gotten an instruction that I had to work with, and that was what I did. I worked with that instruction. I worked with that instruction. I didn't listen to whatever they had to say. I knew who had instructed me. I knew who had spoken to me about that particular thing. And I knew that he was not going to lead me astray. And so, regardless of what they were saying, it was very difficult, I tell you. Imagine being the only person standing. It was really, 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 really difficult. But I stood my ground. And that's where my conviction is coming in. I got the instruction. If I was not convicted about it, if I was not so sure about what God has said, I would have listened to what people had to say about that thing. But I was convicted. I knew what God had told me. I had gotten my instruction loud and clear. So can you see the place of instruction and conviction? God told me, right? I was also convicted. I was sure that it was the right thing to do. Guess what? I went ahead to do that thing I was supposed to do. And eventually, I got the support of these people when it worked out. It was not easy. It was not easy. I'm not going to say that it's all perfect now, no. Because there's still quite a number of things that we are pursuing. But then, at the time I needed that support, I didn't get it because they did not see reasons with me. But eventually, everybody had to come in alignment to God's will. Now, if I had listened to what they had to say, because they had logical reasons, of course. They had a lot of reasons why I shouldn't have done, you know, what I that thing that I did. But God's instruction superseded whatever logical reason that they had. And if I was not strong enough in my conviction or with my conviction, they would have persuaded me into not doing that thing, and I would have disobeyed God's instruction, and that would have been very, very tragic, very, very tragic. So because I knew that God was not going to lead me astray, I had understood that when God gives you an instruction, you have to obey. So I was convicted and knew that God was not going to lead me astray. And that was why I went in. Even when it was seeming foolish, I still went ahead to do it. And today I'm happy. Right? So another thing. See, there's a lot to talk about in terms of conviction, understanding conviction, and personal instructions from God. Let me say this to end the video, that know God for yourself. See, I tell you that when you know God for yourself, so many things in your life will fall into place. In terms of getting personal instructions, in terms of your convictions, you will see that a lot of things that you once believed, they might not have been wrong, but you will get a deeper understanding about so many things when you know God for yourself. Now, you do not have to rely on what so pastor is saying, or what. I'm not saying that you are ruling out entirely the place of authority and spiritual heads. No, I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that when you know God for yourself, there are certain things that you would understand personally, that you might not have to run to any pastor to explain to you. Imagine you have there's a small problem. Quickly, you have gone to your pastor. Pastor, this is pastor is not the one that will be convincing you and be saying no, it's not like this, like this. No. When you know God for yourself, there are so many things that will fall into an alignment. See, even in the area of marriage, many people hey, if you have not received an instruction, God has not told you that this is this. If you go ahead, somebody I know will say you drink your garri, and me, I'm adding that you drink your garri and you drink it without sugar. It will, that. Know God for yourself. That is the conclusion of the whole matter. This is the conclusion of the whole matter. Know God for yourself. Listen to instructions. See, know how God speaks to you. If you do not know how God speaks to you, then that's something that you need to work on first hand. That's where you need to start from. Know how God speaks to you. After you've had established a relationship with him, okay, the first thing is to actually establish a relationship with him. After you have established a relationship with him, know how he speaks to you. If you know how he speaks to you, getting instruction from him will not be difficult. You will not be confused about a lot of things. Because see, God, having a relationship with God is like the sweetest thing ever. You get to commune with this person. You get to talk to him about anything and everything. Nothing beats that. Nothing. Nothing. Even the songwriter says, nothing in this world can satisfy. Jesus, you're the cup that won't run dry. Even the songwriter knows. This person that wrote the song, the person, I'm sure the person must have gotten to a point in his life where he realized that nothing in this world can satisfy. Jesus, you are the cup that won't run dry. Your presence is heaven to me. Your presence is heaven to me. He must have gotten to a point in his life where he realized that nothing, absolutely nothing in this world can satisfy. I'm going to end with this. There was a story I wanted to share of how I had an exam to write, and then, my principal, I do not talk in the exam hall. I get my answer booklet, I start writing. I do what I want to do, I'm done, out of the exam hall. And then one exam I had to write, not even one. The exam I had to write, it was like a series of them. And then on one of those days, I sat beside somebody, right? And then this person calls me by my name. And this person asked me, right? If I was doing that based off of niceness, I would have answered. And I would have possibly told her the answer if I knew the answer to that question. I said, don't get it wrong, if we were doing it based off of niceness, I would have done that. But that's not my conviction. My conviction is that you do not ask and you do not tell, right? That's malpractice. And so I didn't. And I felt really bad. I was not supposed to feel bad, but I felt bad. And then after the exam, I said I was going to speak to this person, but I wasn't able to. And then later, I think some days later, I now went to meet her, and I told her that, look, I'm sorry, but that's my conviction. And when I did that, when I told her that, she was even, God bless her, she was even a very, very understanding person, and she was like, no, she's not annoyed, like all of that. And I feel there was this joy and peace that I stood. Lastly, I'm just going to say this: know God for yourself. Have a personal relationship with God. See, when you have a personal relationship with God, you will be convicted about so many things. You do not even need external factors. You do not need external persons to start to tell you certain things. God himself would reveal to you the things that you should know. Right? And then it would instruct you on certain things that he wants you to do. So the most important thing is to know God. And not just knowing him on the surface level. Have an intimate relationship with him. Build a personal relationship with him, an intimate relationship with him. Know him for yourself. Know him for yourself. Know him for yourself. When you know God for yourself, I tell you, so many things will fall into place. So many things will fall into place. So many things. You will get clarity about a lot of things. You will receive insights to do certain things. Know God for yourself. So this has been an amazing time with you guys. I look forward to having this kind of chit chat with you guys again. Thank you guys for always. Thank you guys for always. Please don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Until next time, bye.